Well, folks, it was a really big week for me and the Maverick as I had my lift kit installed. And as you can see, the truck just has a much more aggressive stance. I couldn't be happier with the way that it turned out, the look and the added clearance. And today I'm going to give you all the details about what we did. Now, there were three big changes that we made this week. The first was the installation of the Eibach Pro Lift Kit, which comes with new springs for the front and the rear to give you a 2-inch lift in the front and a 1-inch lift in the back, which is basically going to level the truck and lift it at the same time. And in addition to that, I added Firestone Destination AT tires in 245/70/17, and we added the new wheels as well. These are the Traverse MX from 1552 wheels, and this is in the frosted graphite finish. I really love the look of the wheels, and I think it just goes perfectly with the overall look of the truck and the color scheme that I've got going. Today, like I said, we're gonna give you guys a look at the before and after. I've got some great footage from the installation job. I went to a wonderful shop down in Exton, Pennsylvania called PA Euros. And it's funny because these guys specialize in Porsche, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen. And they've done a few Mavericks, and they've done 2 lowering jobs on a Maverick, and this is the first lift. Christian, the tech down there, did a fantastic job. So we'll show you the whole process and then kind of give you the specs and the measurements of how we ended up in terms of increased ride height and clearance versus stock. So here we go. All right, man, so you got that first strut off there pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. These are super easy to do. Here's the original suspension, and this is the upgraded one. You can see it's much bigger. Should increase the preload and increase the ride height.
You know, with the spring lift, with Eibach, I think you've worked with them quite a bit. A lot of your customers like to lower. They have a pretty good reputation, and you like their products?
Yeah, Eibach rides almost as good as OEM for being a stock shock and changing the ride height. So yeah, Eibach is great.
And if you could lift up the strut for us and talk about the, you know, a lot of the kits that were out early for the Maverick were like your puck style lifts where you're actually basically bolting a spacer onto the top of the strut. And Eibach came out with this spring lift, which I think is a better option. I think you agree with that. Could you just kind of briefly touch on the differences?
Yeah, so a puck lift, there's 2 differences. You can go on top or on the spring itself. And the puck lift, all it does is increase preload and adjust where the spring sits. So your stock spring is only designed to be under a certain amount of preload, and that's how you get the optimum ride height. But with a custom-made spring, they can tune it for the exact rebound that the adjusted height is going to do to the shock. So it will ride much better, and Eibach does a lot of tuning and research and development before releasing it.
All right, so I'm back out here with Christian. He is absolutely cruising along. He's already finished up, I think, the driver's side rear, and he's got the passenger rear. So you've got the stock spring and the aftermarket, right?
Yeah, so you can tell it's noticeably bigger. It's a little bit thicker in diameter, so should be good and give you the nice lift you're looking for.
As you saw in the picture earlier in the video, all of the Eibach springs that they make for off-road applications are finished in a silver. And I didn't like that so much for my truck just because I'm trying to stick with black and gray. So I hit this spring with some spray paint before the install, but that is the Eibach spring. All right, so we're done with the job, and I have to say, I am really excited about the way that this truck is looking. I mean, you can see how much of a difference that extra ride height and the tires make. The new 1552 wheels look incredible. Let's start in the back here, and I'm gonna do the measurements. I did take a peek before we started filming, and I was definitely getting 2 inches in the front here. So here I'm at 16.5 in the rear. I think we were at 15 maybe beforehand, so about 1.5 inches on the rear bumper. Here at the rear wheel well, I'm now at 36 inches. I think we were at 34 and some the first time around. In the center here, my side clearance, and again, I'm not gonna go to here. I'm gonna go actually, this is the bottom of the frame here. I'm at 12 3/4 now. 12 3/4 there on the side. Front wheel well, I'm at 35.5. And this is the big one, because as I said beforehand, where I really, know that the clearance is gonna come in handy in terms of clearing obstacles, is gonna be this front bumper, and it meets the skid plate right here. And we were at 9 inches before, and now I'm at 11 inches, maybe 11.1/8 inches. I'm gonna say, well, if I go right to the plastic, right at 11 inches to the plastic front bumper here, and a little bit more to the skid plate. So that's a full 2 inches in the front, which of course, I mean, this is advertised as a 2-inch lift, but it's right there at spec. And again, I just think the whole thing looks so much more truck-like, and it just looks like this is a truck that's ready to go hunt, I can't say enough about PA Euros, and I'm actually gonna get Christian to kind of recap the job, which he did really well, and then we'll be on our way. Well, Christian, I mean, I was pretty impressed with your work today. I thought I might be here pretty much all day. You did in about 4 hours. Put the aftermarket springs on, mounted and balanced the tires, got those on the truck, got us up on the alignment rack, and fixed that, which of course it was out of spec after the install, which is to be expected. But overall, I thought it went really smoothly. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward. These are simple vehicles to work on, and we got everything as it should be.
So what do you think overall about the look? I mean, I don't know if this is your thing, but as far as, I know you've lowered 2 of these and you've seen that before. This is the first one that you've lifted, maybe seen it with your own eyes. What are your first impressions of the truck? And you did drive it, albeit briefly, but just kind of what do you think about it?
No, I mean, I think it looks great. It definitely improves the look. It makes it more aggressive, makes it more truck-like, and without sacrificing the size and ride comfort. And yeah, no, I think it's awesome.